Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brian here. How's everyone doing tonight? Just got done watching the Gavin Newsom Ron DeSantis debate. Um, it was interesting. It was chaotic as expected. What modern day major party debate isn't chaotic? You know, it basically just shows the two men of how they are. I will say I was kind of on DeSantis' side in this debate on a lot of things. The only thing that I was not on DeSantis' side was the tax breaks for the rich part. As the only thing I was not. But when they talked about the talking about the border, the border and stuff, um, then a number of issues. But it really felt like Gavin Newsom was. You would think it would have been opposite way around, because it sounded more like Gavin Newsom was the presidential candidate. And how Republicans talk about Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy don't have the courage to go against Trump, which they don't. But neither does Newsom. Newsom said he gives Biden an A plus. Now listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I would say to Gavin Newsom, an A plus. You call a lagging economy that hasn't gone up a tad bit since he's became president an A plus. You call this high inflation A plus. You call the high gas prices A plus. You call how taxes are getting higher and higher for middle class and poor families A plus. You call how he failed to get a national new minimum wage passed. You call it A plus. You call how the Democratic Party controlled Congress first 2 years, and he didn't get a single thing passed that helped people. You call that A plus. He tried mandating vaccines for all Americans, and you call that A plus. You call it A plus. For this division playing into this woke stuff, you call that stuff A plus. Now listen, I give Donald Trump an F, but I also give Joe Biden an F too, because Joe Biden has done no good. I mean, for him to say this, yeah, it's a matter of opinion, but for him to say this and being in the position of the governor of a state, not only a governor of a state, the governor of the most populated state in America, and the biggest geographic state, that's a huge issue. Why isn't no one realizing this? And I will say the same to Ron. Ron needs to start going to Trump. Newsom kept talking. Newsom said this that the thing that me and Ron DeSantis commonly share is that we're not going to be the nominees of our parties. I will say that was pretty funny. You know, but DeSantis did bring up some points. DeSantis made the point of the homeless rate, how it continues to rise in California. He made the point of how the crime rate continues to rise. He held up a map of literally where human feces, is laying there. There's a map of it across all California. He talked about how it's the highest tax. He talked about how high the inflation there is, the gas prices, how the economy's lagging, and how Newsom refuses to do anything about it. He also brought up the COVID response, which I can praise DeSantis on that. Listen, I'm not voting for Ron DeSantis for president, but DeSantis kicked ass in this debate. He really did. Newsom just kept going off point, talking like presidential candidate. But DeSantis, I will give you commencing, because DeSantis really did kick ass. He did. Newsom got owned. DeSantis really did study this debate, and he brought the facts. I will say, Sean Hannity didn't do a good. Sean Hannity did a terrible job. He could not control either one of them. Neither one of them I vote for president, but if I had to choose, it would be DeSantis 100% that I would choose. Simply because he actually has a record of actually accomplishing stuff, whether you like it or not, where Newsom literally has no record of accomplishing anything. So, you know, it's just a thing that I think. And, the part I didn't like was the last question was, can you name one thing that you like about each state? DeSantis said something about a landscape. Newsom didn't even answer that. Now, listen, I don't want DeSantis to be president, but I would much rather have a Ron DeSantis presidency any day of the week over another 4 years of this Joe Biden presidency, or even one day of a Gavin Newsom presidency. I would much rather have a DeSantis president. I'm not voting for him. I'm voting for RFK Jr. Or if some other strong third party comes along, most likely RFK Jr. But I'm just saying. There are obviously Democrats that I would rather have Newsom over. Like, I would much rather have Newsom over Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg. I think he's much more qualified. At least he's been a governor where they haven't. Or maybe I'd much rather have him over AOC. But I wouldn't rather him over Biden, because he's literally one of the ventriloquists that are pulling the puppet strings to Biden. Yeah. Newsom also brought up in the debate, why don't you drop out and give Nikki a chance? My response to that is, I don't care how much you drop out. I don't care how few candidates there are on this field at this point. That it looks like Donald Trump is going to be the nominee. I don't, you could clear the field. And obviously a candidate is probably going to do a lot better if they have less opponents. But in all honesty, a lot of them supporters are just going to go to Trump. Like, for example, I mean, you look at it, Nikki Haley's not even running a real campaign. And Chris Christie is trying so hard. But none of them are. The ones that kiss Trump's ass or the ones that stand up to Trump. None of them are gaining traction. None of the candidates. There were times when Chris Christie was striking close to winning the state of New Hampshire, which I still think he might be able to do. But literally, out of all 50 states, if you look at the polling, there's only one state that actually is competitive and a candidate would actually stand a chance at defeating Trump there, and that is the state of New Hampshire. Literally every other state, Iowa, South Carolina, Florida, Ohio, my home state of Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is just going to win in a landslide. So, I fear like, no matter how hard candidates try, I mean, there's been 3 debates already. I mean, I do think it would be a different story if Trump was showing up to the debates, because then they'd have their chance to take him on. But with Trump refusing to debate, I'm sorry, no one's going to get this nomination. Now, if Trump were to attend a debate, then a candidate could have a one-on-one with him and potentially take him out of the race. But that's the struggle that not just DeSantis, that all the candidates are having. And, if any other candidates jump in, it'll be the same thing too. And for the Newsom part, Newsom, he said that he's not running. He said that he's not going to be the Democratic nominee. But it's kind of funny. He wouldn't answer the question, and of if here's the question. Sean Hannity he showed a thing of Lyndon Johnson when Lyndon Johnson said, "I will not seek my party's nomination, and nor if it is offered to me, I will not accept it." Newsom would not answer the question of if he'd seek his party's nomination, which I guess he sort of said he hasn't. But if it was offered to him, if Biden falls apart or whatever at the convention, would he take it? He refused to answer. So, I'm just saying, I don't think Newsom's going to run if Biden's running. I really don't. I'll be truthfully honest. I believe him on that he's not going to run. But I think that if Biden drops out, or if something happens, like catastrophic, I think Newsom is waiting in the wings to try to get that nomination. Or he's vying to be the front runner in 2024. Or, that's what I'm thinking. And as for DeSantis is, I don't even know what his plan forward is of this election or any other election. We'll have to see. Yeah, so I would say DeSantis was the clear winner, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys watch this? Did you guys and girls watch this debate? Thank you so much for watching this video. That's it for tonight on this topic. Please like this video, leave a comment, please share this video. Oh, and most importantly, please subscribe. We're at 46 subs. Let's keep it going. By the end of the day on Martin Luther King Day, I'd like to be at 60, and I know we can do it. So let's keep chugging.